Hello there. I am Dr. Mark Stickney with Spay Neuter Network, and welcome to Ask the Vet. We are reviving this series. It's been gone for a little while, but here it is, and we're very excited to bring it back to you. A little bit about myself. My name is Dr. Mark Stickney, and I am the veterinarian at the Spay Neuter Hospital in San Antonio. I am a graduate from Texas A&M University in 1997 from vet school, and then I did my internship and residency at Mississippi State University. I have been in private practice. I have taught at both Mississippi State and Texas A&M, where I taught primary care, community practice, exotic animal medicine and surgery, and also general elective surgery. And I have done some telehealth. Most recently now, here I am at Spay Neuter Network, and it is fantastic to be here. I love what our mission is to bring wellness care and spaying and neutering pets to as many people as possible, as affordably as possible. I just think that's an amazing thing, and there's such a need for that. So we're happy to have that here in San Antonio, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. So, about Ask the Vet. This is going to be a monthly series that we do where for 30 minutes, I will go through some things that may be happening in the news, touch on things that are important, touch on exciting things going on with Spay Neuter Network in the communities, and answer as many of your questions as I can as we go along. So make sure to follow this page so that you are up to date on all of the things happening with Spay Neuter Network and seeing us back here at in every month. So mentioning a few things that are going on here that I've noticed in San Antonio that I wanted to bring up, especially this time of year for our pets and our pet safety are two things. Number one, I was at a fundraiser at the high school with one of my kids, and they are doing their poinsettia sales. And poinsettias are everywhere this time of the year. Everybody likes them. They're beautiful. Do remember that that poinsettias are toxic to pets, especially cats. It will not kill them, but it is a very potent mouth and nose irritator. So if they start chewing on those leaves, they're going to start foaming at the mouth, acting very uncomfortable. They may vomit. So keep those out of reach of your pets if you're going to have those. Secondly, this time of year, people are getting their cars ready for the cold weather. We haven't had a whole lot of that here in San Antonio yet, but it will certainly be here at some point in time. People are changing their antifreeze in their vehicles. Antifreeze is very toxic to cats and dogs, and it also, most of them taste very, very sweet. So dog comes around and will start licking the antifreeze, and then it will develop acute renal failure, and that is an expensive thing to treat and often does not have a very good outcome. So be aware of antifreeze and making sure that none of that's around where your pets or other pets in the community can get into it. Speaking of the community and things that I do outside of work, I am, when I'm not here at Spay Neuter Network, I have 4 children. I have 2 teenagers and 2 toddlers, and they keep me busy over 100% of the time. But in what little free time I do have, I'm a big comic book collector. I really enjoy doing that. And I also like to read and exercise, although I should do more of that than I actually am. One of the things that I wanted to make sure to mention here is that yesterday was International Volunteer Day. Volunteers in every aspect of the community are so important, and especially with us here at Spay Neuter Network. We work so hard to deliver the services and products to y'all that we do, and it takes a lot of people to make that happen. And when we're able to have volunteers step in and help us with that, that is just an amazing thing. Volunteers are usually unsung heroes. So just wanted to give a shout out to all of them, especially the ones that help us here at Spay Neuter Network to keep everything flowing the way that we want it to flow so that we can deliver top-notch care and service all the time. we have some questions. We have a couple of questions that have come in, and this is a big topic in the news right now that I wanted to make sure to mention, and that is the mystery respiratory disease virus that, or respiratory disease bug that is being seen in many, many states. Thankfully, we have not officially had any of that come here to Texas yet, but this respiratory disease is different from some that we have had in the past in that it seems to strike very quickly with animals that develop signs of respiratory disease, typically a cough, sneezing, runny nose, runny eyes, and it very quickly progresses to pneumonia that is fatal in many of these animals. So far, we do not know exactly what's causing it. None of the usual culprits, parainfluenza, bordetella, canine flu, strepzo epidemus, strepzo, have proven to be the cause of that. It is playing the odds. It's most likely a virus that causes this, that's causing this, and it has yet to be isolated. It's more difficult for bacteria to make that jump and to mutate into something very, very new. It is probably a new mutation of something that already exists. Right now, no one really knows. There has been no evidence of this disease being transmitted from people to pets or from pets to people. And also, to follow up on one of the questions from Bonnie, is that no, there has been no evidence of this transferring from dogs to cats. So what we do know right now is that we need to not panic about this. We need to be aware of it and pay attention to what's going on, and we need to do the reasonable things that we can to help protect our pets. Those things are going to include, firstly, not having them be around a lot of other animals. This is a time of year when lots of people travel, lots of people are boarding their pets, and when pets are boarded, they are around a lot of other animals. Avoiding that situation if possible. If you can have a pet sitter come into your house and take care of your pets instead of having to send them to a boarding facility, that's great. If you like to take your dog to a dog park, now's probably not the time to do that. Probably want to play with them in your own yard, or take them out where they can be more isolated and away from other pets. So avoiding contact is a big thing, is one of the biggest things that we can do. About a year ago, there was a large outbreak of canine influenza virus. One of the big differences between that and what is happening this year is that outbreak was largely in animal shelters, and not so much in privately owned pets. The respiratory disease that we are seeing now is happening in privately owned pets more so than in large animal settings. We also know that we also then knew what the cause was, that it was the canine influenza virus. And although that disease can develop into pneumonia, usually it's much less serious. Can I answer? We have a patient that they need you to come check out. Okay, I'll be right there. And the signs are usually much less serious than they are than we are seeing with this new canine infectious respiratory disease. Another thing that we can do that will help is to have your pet protected against the diseases that we know we can vaccinate for. And the major causes of canine respiratory disease are parainfluenza virus, Bordetella bronchoseptica, and canine flu. Having your pet vaccinated for those particular, for Bordetella and for the parainfluenza, is something that we know we can do, and we know those vaccines are very effective. So you want to make sure that you do that prior to having your pet go boarding or do anything else that it would do around other dogs. I think an important point here is that a lot of times people will be in a rush last minute. I need to go board my pet, and they'll go and get the Bordetella vaccine, the distemper vaccine, and on the way to dropping it off at the boarding facility. And yes, it's great that they're vaccinated, but it's not that vaccine is not a magic thing that's going to instantly work. So those pets, although they have been vaccinated, do not have a lot of do not really have any protection at that very moment. It takes some time for an immune response to develop in the animal. So being proactive and thoughtful about your timing and when you do those things is very important, which brings up something very helpful for this time of year. And what we have going on is that distemper parvo vaccines and feline respiratory disease vaccines for cats and dogs are only $10 this month at the North Texas clinics. And if you happen to be here in San Antonio, they are free this month. And thank you very much to our great partner Petco Love for allowing us to be able to offer those vaccines for free. So there's a great opportunity, whether you're up there in North Texas with Spay Neuter, near Spay Neuter Network, or down here in San Antonio. You can't beat that, and it's just a very important thing to do. Vaccines are the second most important thing that has been developed that prevents disease spread and infectious disease ever in the history of medicine, both for people and for animals. So making sure that we stay up to date and current on those is very important. And I am keeping an eye out for any questions that happen to come through here. One of the things that we have going on with Spay Neuter Network is that tomorrow, if you are up in in Dallas tomorrow at 5 p.m. at Pause, we're having a Paws and Pints event at White Rock Brewing Company on Beckley in Dallas. And if you go there and enjoy some pints, you'll also be able to enjoy talking with our Spay Neuter Network Executive Director, Jordan Craig. She will be there along with other staff members at White Rock Brewing Company tomorrow at 5. And it'll be a great time just to visit with them, talk about what is going on with Spay Neuter Network and pets, and enjoy some beer as well. So that will be something that's a lot of fun. I wish I could be in Dallas for that. If you are in Grand Prairie or near Grand Prairie Animal Services and Adoption Center is doing free microchips for dogs and cats this Saturday from 9 to noon. And they're calling it their Chipmas event. So instead of Christmas, it's Chipmas, CHIPMAS for microchip. So the celebrate chipness with your pet. If they are not microchipped, make sure that you do that. Microchips are really important for any animal that ever has the potential to get out of the house, which is pretty much every animal. I've got a dog at home that's one of those door bolters, and I'm trying to bring groceries in the house, and the dog decides it's going to go out the house, but it's not going out to help me with the groceries. It's just going out, and now I have to go catch it. So microchips are the single most important thing that allow a pet that has been lost to find its owners. So having your pet microchipped, and then also having your registering that microchip specifically to your name and your address will help that animal to find its way back to you if it should ever get lost. That's a really sad thing when that happens. So microchips the importance of having your pet microchip just can't be overstated. I see here, let's see, can you discuss the ages for spay and neuters? Does it differ for cats and dogs? And if so, why? And then recommending age for neutering cats. So, okay, well, the rule that we follow that has been shown in studies and in practical experience has been that if as long as a dog or a cat is 2 months of age and 2 pounds of weight, they can safely go through anesthesia and be spayed and neutered. So You don't have to necessarily wait for any particularly long period of time to have your pet spayed or neutered. There are some considerations to make if in the timing, and that is if you were, let's say for cats, especially for male cats, you absolutely want to get them neutered before they start spraying and marking their territory around your house or in your house. Male cats tend to go into sexual maturity about 6 months of age. So you want your cat to be neutered before it's 6 months old, and avoid it ever deciding that that's a great idea to say, hey, this is mine. Um, for female cats, they will reach maturity at 6 months of age, and then they will also then go into heat around the springtime when the weather starts to get warmer, and they will let you know that they're in heat because they will be caterwauling and at the windows and at the doors and rubbing up against everything and being just as lovey-dovey as they can, which is very different than how my cats would be the rest of the time. And a lot of times that in heat behavior with all of the noise and the racket and will inspire people to have their cats spayed. So I would again recommend to get this done get your cat spayed before you get to that point. So between 2 months and 6 months of age is kind of the magic time to get those done on cats, whether they're boys or girls, 2 to 6 months. With dogs, again, we can do early age spay neuter, and we do it all the time, and it's a great way to prevent unwanted litters of animals. The In male dogs, if we neuter them prior to hitting sexual maturity, we are able to avoid a lot of the kind of nuisance behaviors of them marking and trying to get out of the yard, or if the neighbors have a female dog, trying to get to know that dog really well. So you can avoid a lot of that by having them neutered prior to 6 months of age. There is some evidence that shows that larger breed dogs should wait until they're closer to a year of age to be neutered, because that allows their skeletons to fully develop, and reduces the risk of some different orthopedic diseases. So there is evidence that shows that, and I think for pet owners, it really comes down to a question of how soon do I want to get this procedure done? How concerned am I about my pet having arthritis later in life versus how concerned am I in having them spayed or neutered before they hit maturity, go into a heat cycle, start to mark around the house. So that's an individual question that you kind of have to answer for yourself, but by the time they're a year old, they absolutely can be neutered, and the sooner the procedure is done, the easier it is on them, and the faster they will bounce back from it. Reasons for neutering and spaying our dogs there are some very important ones. In the case of dogs, not only does it prevent any marking behavior, it also can lead to less aggression, so they will be less prone to fight roughly with their housemates, or if they get loose, they'll be less aggressive, or go to the dog park, they'll tend to be less aggressive around other dogs. It will also eliminate the incidence of prostatic hyperplasia, or an enlarged prostate gland, when they're older, and that can cause them to have difficulties urinating and defecating. For female dogs, having them spayed prior to their first heat cycle virtually eliminates the risk that they will ever develop mammary cancer. And that is one of the most common cancers in dogs. And when it is treated, one of the things that has to happen is that dog has to be spayed along with that. So you can skip over all of that and just have them spayed while they're still young pups, and get that taken care of. They also It will also prevent pyometra, which is an infection of the uterus that can be a fatal infection if it's a closed pyometra and not caught in time. So it it takes a spay from being about $6,000 in some places to, the price of what a spay is for a normal healthy animal. So there are all kinds of compelling and good reasons to get your pet spayed or neutered, and the sooner the better. Let's see here. A question. No, in Texas, due to the animal vets here are allowed to spay and neuter all animals 2 pounds. Would that affect a lot of these animals getting neutered and spayed so young? So the short answer is no. There have been multiple studies done in cats. There was a lot of concern that when we first started to do early age spay and neuter about 20 years ago, that it would cause them to be more likely to develop urinary tract disease, that they would be more likely to develop urinary obstructions because it would make the urethra, the opening that they would pee from, smaller. So we looked at all of those things, and none of that turned out to be true at all. So there are no complications for the dogs and the cats being neutered that young and that small. Again, same thing with the dogs. The biggest noteworthy thing is that they bounce back within about 2 hours, like nothing even happened when they're that young. We talked a little bit about some of the larger and giant breed dogs, that there may be some orthopedic issues, but they are going to have so many other benefits that it's something to really think about, whether getting that done sooner rather than later. Let's see here. Any info on the dog virus going around? What can we do as dog owners to stay safe? So let me touch base on that again and reiterate that. So far, the mystery respiratory illness has not shown up in Texas. It tends to cause pets to rapidly develop respiratory disease signs, coughing, sneezing, nasal discharge, and in the case of this new mystery disease, it tends to develop into pneumonia very quickly, which has killed some pets. The most important things that we can do are avoid high dog areas. So avoid having your pet boarded if you can, avoid the dog park, avoid getting around other dogs, avoid anything that would allow dogs to have any sort of saliva exchange. Most respiratory diseases are spread by nasal-oral contact. So if there's a community water bowl, you don't want your dog to drink out of that. If there's some kind of toys that a bunch of dogs like to share, now's not the time where sharing is caring. So we don't want them to be doing that. And we want to vaccinate them for the diseases we know that we can vaccinate for. So distemper and parainfluenza virus, that's all in that DAPPV vaccine. And we then want to monitor them for symptoms. Everyone knows their pet the best. And when your dog's not acting like himself, herself, when that they don't usually cough and now they're coughing. And when you see something like that, contact your local veterinarian. If it's minor, great, it can be monitored. If it turns out to be something more severe, if you get on it fast sooner rather than later, like pretty much every disease, the better off they are. So right now is not the time to panic about this. It's time to be aware of it, be vigilant for any changes in your pet's health, err on the side of getting them looked at sooner rather than later, and keep them away from other pets and high volume pet areas where they could be exposed to things that you don't want them to be exposed to. I think about it a lot the same way that I do during cold and flu season. I don't necessarily want to go to any big crowded event if I'm concerned about being sick or if I'm not feeling good myself because I don't want to spread that around. Dogs don't have to pump gas, but we do. I always use a little hand sanitizer after I do that because who knows who's handled that gas pump before I have. So, it's really a lot of common sense stuff. Keep your pet away from situations where they'd be likely to be exposed to something. We have several free and affordable vaccine clinics coming up. Some of them are free. Some of them are going to be $20 community cat spay neuter days. Lots of exciting things coming up soon in up in the North Texas area and also here in the San Antonio area. So keep an eye out on this page and the event calendar for dates of those things and information about them, so that you're aware of them and can take advantage of them before you miss them. So this is going to be this page and our website are going to be your major sources for the information that you're going to need and the information events that and services that we're able to provide you. And again, that's our mission. That's why we're here, is that we want to make sure that everybody can get the wellness care for their pets that they need. And it's so true. People or pets, ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if we can get that out to you guys, that is a win for everybody. Let's see here. How can I clean my Boston Terrier's ears? Anything over the counter I can use. So the pet store has a lot of things that are over the counter that you can use to safely clean your dog's ears. One of the things to keep in mind is that itchy ears are usually secondary to some other problem that's going on. It could be secondary to allergies. People get runny eyes and runny noses. Dogs get itchy ears and itchy paws. So, and here, especially in the San Antonio area, allergy disease in dogs is just incredibly common. So, that could be a reason they're itching. Another reason could be that they have gotten some sort of a bacterial overgrowth or a yeast overgrowth in their ear canals. And if you clean the pet's ears and they do not stop itching, or it's just not seeming to go anywhere, you want to get them looked at by your vet, because there are treating allergies and treating ear disease in many cases is so much easier now in dogs than it was just 5 years ago. There's a lot of new products that are a whole lot easier to use, and that your dog will fight you against a whole lot less. So definitely get that checked out, and if you're not seeing the results that you want to see. I have. Let's see. Can I spay my dog, my female puppy at 3 months? Yes, you can. 2 months, 2 pounds. That's what we're looking for. And on that note, I have really enjoyed being here today. This has been a great first Ask the Vet. We've had a lot of good questions, and we've shared a lot of good information. And please mark this page so that you know when we're going to be doing this again next month, so that you know what events that we are going to be having in the future, so that you don't miss those. Remember that if you're up in North Texas, if you're up in Dallas, go to White Rock Brewing Company this weekend. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Tomorrow, Thursday at 5 p.m. for Paws and Pints. pets and beer, two fantastic things, two of my favorite things. So that would be a great time. And this Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon at Grand Prairie Animal Services and Adoption Center, it is Merry Chipmas free microchips for your dog and cat. So you don't want to miss that. I am Dr. Stickney. It has been great to see everybody and to visit with y'all and answer your questions. Please have a great rest of the week and a great month. And I look forward to seeing y'all next time. Take care.